Hello everybody, this is Will Robson here. You can check out my work at facebook.com/RobsonInc. So I'm continuing to do some of my pinups, and this is an example of a failed drawing. I started this at about 2 in the morning and I ended about 5:30, and I spent ages doing the pencils, even doing the roughs here. It actually took me about an hour and 20 minutes to do the pencils, which is way too long, which means I rush the inks and I rush the colour, and all the render lines I put, it just doesn't look good. I'm not happy with it at all, but this is why these recordings are great, because I can sort of take a look back and see where I went wrong. So you see, here you can see how much I'm trying to get this pose right. Spider-Man is not easy to draw, folks. He's very difficult. It's all a lot of foreshortening and trying to get a good pose down. So here I'm chucking in my pencils. This is the only part of the drawing I like, which is his front leg. I like the sort of foreshortened view of the foot. Everything else though is really bad. But that's just me being very critical on myself. So this arm started out being way too large, and also that Spider-Man logo I think is what chucked me off, because I thought the Spider-Man logo on his sweatshirt was sort of in the upper left corner of his sweatshirt, but actually it sort of covers the whole sweatshirt, and I think it threw me off of where I should be placing everything. So the struggles I had with this picture are this foreground hand and his head. I just couldn't find a good spot to stick his head, and it took me ages, far too long. And there you're going to see loads of me just pausing and looking at it and thinking and doing lots of fixing, and in the end it's not very good. Anyway, I'm not going to keep repeating myself saying, oh, it's terrible, because there is some merit to it, but this is all certainly a learning experience for me. So you see there I was having trouble with the fingers, so I sort of just drew them in boxes. I find if you just draw things as actual boxes, sometimes when you can't figure out a foreshortened shape, it really helps, because it's much easier to draw a square foreshortened than it is to draw anything else, because a little practice on form drawing foreshortened squares goes a long way. So this head, oh my god, and this hand, it was like you see there's no thumb on there, because I was struggling for ages to stick a thumb on there. This hand is a bit messed up as well. What else is going on? Yeah, so this thumb here, I'm sticking all around, and what I ended up doing a lot was just looking at my hand for ages. And here's another example of the head being put in loads of different places. It's difficult as well because of his eyes, since they're so big. You lose a lot of sort of form of the face, because since the eyes stretch basically across his forehead and down his cheeks, it's very hard to tell where the actual form of his head is. And I realized in this position as well, I put his arm too much in the front, so that his head would have actually been covered. If I was going to draw this the right way, I would have had his head sort of tilting down looking forward, but since his arm is in the way, it was a bit of a tricky job, so I'm just trying to get through it. This head gets scrapped eventually, and yeah. Oh dear. Good stuff. So the lighting I do later on is way too thick. I keep doing my line weights and shading way too thick. In the end it looks like I've drawn a really tiny image because everything is so thick. I need to do a thinner line so that it looks like I've put more detail into it. Otherwise it looks way too much like a quick sketch, which is not good. So as you can see, there's lots of fiddling around here. I think I've eventually got to the inks here. And the ink started out okay. Again, I'm very happy with this leg. This leg is the best part of the drawing. I should just erase everything and keep the leg instead. And all the anatomy is wrong. It was just early in the morning, and yeah, I'm just going to stop complaining though, because I don't want you guys to listen to me whining. But Scarlet Spidey is really fun to draw, because there's just a bit more dynamics to him. You've got the wrinkles of a sweatshirt, you've got random sort of pouches and those, I guess they're web cartridges around his arm. I'm not really quite sure. I don't remember. I remember reading it when I was a kid, but I don't remember much about it. And I need to work on rendering metal objects. I know how to render certain metal objects, but there's so many different ways to do one thing, and I still haven't found the exact style of rendering metal that I like. I know there is one way of doing it, which is sort of the Iron Man comics from the 90s. I just really think that anything from the 90s, I don't know why, the 90s art style to me is the comic book art style. I think it's, you know, with all the rendering and hatch lines, and I just thought it's the most interesting way to draw comics, because before that, the 90s, it wasn't really the time of the artists, it was the time of the storytellers. And you know, a lot of people have complaints about the 90s, but to me, I think the 90s really just showed the world that check out this amazing artwork that's going on in this medium, because there's nothing else like it. Not many other people do sort of pure ink work outside of comics that I know of. Prove me wrong though by messaging me saying that I'm an idiot and showing me lots of examples, because I'd love to see that, because I just love inks. I think inking with rendering, you know, you don't have any grey, you've got to create grey with little lines. I think that's just a really nice way to trick your brain into seeing grey. I just think it's really pretty. So there, the rendering around that leg does not show the form of that leg. I sort of did it in the wrong way. Since the leg is pointing down, the render line should be sort of wrapping around that object going down. And those I put those lines across his head, which would signify that the lighting is coming from behind, but I just chucked it in there anyway. So as you can see there, all the lines are too thick. His forearm muscles are just bulges of twisted Nerf gun balls or whatever. Oh dear. So I tried to salvage this with a bit of colour, and the colour does salvage it a bit, but it's not that great. And this is again a really rushed coloured job. Maybe I should spend a bit more time. I should have kept the yellow in there. I think the yellow looks really cool in the background there, but I was just trying to decide what the colour I wanted of it in the end, and I think I just went with white in the end. So again, this is what I'm doing here. This is cell shading, which is essentially I'm just drawing a layer of darkness around where I've put those render lines. I'm not going too heavily into lighting because I want to keep sort of the essence of the rendering intact of the drawing. There I was trying to put some fun designs on there, but it just didn't work out. So there we go. There is the failed drawing, and I'll do another pin-up soon. And just I want to announce on this video that me and Jonathan Rector will be posting our commissions and pin-ups in one single location, which is, I believe, called Happy Sketch Time, and that will be on happysketchtime.blogger.com. I'll have the link below. Okay, thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.